navigating the scene with inside Octane Render. So let's go to File, let's hit Open. Let's go to one of our demo files. I'm going to use the benchmarking scene. Hit Open. Wait for the scene to load. Now before we click here, I want to drag this down just to give me a little bit more working room. I also need to reassociate my devices. This happens every time I reopen a file. So I'm going to add both my GTX 470s and remove the 260 so that this one's for display and those two are for Octane. And now I'm going to click the node and that will initiate the viewport. Now as you can see, the scene is immediately rendering. Now if we wanted to rotate around in the scene, if we grab with the left mouse button, that will allow us to rotate around the scene, whatever the center point was fixed earlier. Now if I want to zoom in and out, I can use the mouse wheel and move forward and backwards and zoom in and out. If I press the mouse wheel down and push in and out, I can glide smoothly in and out of the scene. And if we right click, we can pan the scene. Now, what happens if your scene has a lot of geometry in it, and it's not as smooth as you see on my screen? There's a couple options. One is if you hold the Shift key, it goes 10 times as fast when you're rotating, zooming, or anything else. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to use these subsampling buttons that are located up on the toolbar. What they will do is that will decrease image quality while you're moving the scene around, but as soon as you stop, it will snap back to full quality. So this has no subsampling. Now if we click up to the 2x2 subsampling, when I move it, we have a little less image quality, but it rotates much faster. And if we go to the 4x4, when I move it, it gets really degraded, but it's very smooth, and then as soon as you stop, it'll pop back into the full quality mode. So that's very useful if you have a very complex scene and Octane is you're having a little problem maneuvering. Another problem that a lot of people notice, especially if you have very large scenes, is that there might come a time where you're navigating and you seem like you're continuing to zoom in and you're hitting the mouse wheel and you just can't get close enough to what you want to see. It seems like it's very difficult to maneuver. So in those instances, it's very useful to use the camera zoom picking mode. You click it, and whatever you click on in Octane will then become the center of rotation and the center of zooming. So let's say this little piece of greeble down here, I want to be able to navigate closer to this one. If I click it once and then hit the zoom wheel, I actually zoom into that little greeble, and then that is my center of rotation. So that allows me to very quickly navigate my scene. And what if I wanted to go down at the end of the wall there? So same thing, it'll allow me to quickly get there. So if you have a large scene and you want to navigate down into a small detail, it would be very efficient using this camera zoom picking mode. Now, if you've navigated all over your scene and you just wish you got back to where you originally had the camera, if you hit the Reset Camera View, however the camera was set in the OCS file, that will allow you to jump quickly back to that camera view. So that allows you to go ahead and navigate around your scene freely and continue to produce renders. But if you want to just get back to where you had it, maybe your original camera location where it was exported, then you can easily click that button and get back to where you started.